and welcome to another episode of the Give My Head podcast. I'm Tim McGarry, and my comedy chums are
Michael McDowell,
Damon Quinn.
We're here discussing comedy and culture in Northern Ireland. First of all, a very big thank you to our continuing sponsors, the lovely people at Drip Cafe up on the Ormer Road. Drip makes superb coffee, ladies and gentlemen. If you go into Drip and you're hungry and you want some food, they provide excellent food. But also, if you say to them, "Hey, give my head some peace," they'll give you 20% off. 20% off, ladies and gentlemen, your food bill if you go to Drip. I can thoroughly recommend it. I've been in. They're a lovely crowd of people and their coffee is delicious. So please support our very good sponsors, Drip Coffee. Everybody have a nice cup of... And while we're plugging things, shameless plug for, yet again, my show, Ridiculous, one-man show, Ridiculous. It's going very, very well. There are a few shows left. I'm in the Down Arts Centre on the 23rd of November, the Burnavon in Cookstown the 29th, Daly's Comedy Club in Oma on the 30th, and in the Portico Arts Centre in Portaferry. Just go online, look up Tim McGarry's Ridiculous. Have you bought your ticket yet, Marty, to see Ridiculous?
Well, that's why I'm here today, to see if there's any freebies.
Free... Sorry. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by an esteemed actor and friend of the Hole in the Wall gang, actor, star of stage, screen and television, the wonderful Mr. Marty Maguire, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey,
welcome, Marty.
How are you, lads?
Marty, darling. A pleasure to have you, my friend.
It's a pleasure and a surprise to be asked. Thanks, lads.
What do you mean a surprise to be asked? You're one of these modest people. You're in everything in Northern Ireland, aren't you? You're never off the stage in Northern Ireland. You're never out of work, are you?
It's been very good. It's been thankfully a nice busy lot of years. So very, very grateful.
Did I see you in kneecap?
Yes,
you're a kneecap.
Yes, I
Are
am.
you a peeler,
Yes,
an angry peeler?
I'm a very angry piston eye officer. Yeah,
I didn't get that part. I didn't like it that
Yeah,
part.
that's disgraceful.
What happened
Peeler
there?
didn't get the part of a peeler.
Sick. That's my one and only character.
There weren't enough lines in the film.
And you were shouting at some poor...
This young fella refused to speak the Queen's English, so I got very angry with him, yes. And he's continued to refuse to speak the Queen's English and got me even angrier.
Apparently that film... have you seen it? You haven't seen the film?
No,
Kneecap yet? It's actually... I quite liked it. Really. Have you seen... You were at the premiere.
I was, and you were there too, and I waved at you, and you just conveniently... I went, oh, he mustn't have liked it.
No, I didn't enjoy it.
No, I did. No,
apparently it's hardly tipped for the Oscars. Genuinely. I was speaking to Trevor Burney, just name dropping there, the producer, and he said, yeah, no, apparently you go on Paddy Power 16-1 to win the Oscar for Best Film.
To win the Oscar?
To win the Oscar.
Must have been because of...
Well, I was going to say...
Because of my
It's
four
a
lines.
good casting choice.
Actually, after 40 years of doing this, my sons saw the trailer, and my oldest fella, Dylan, he came from the States, he said, "Dad, you're in the trailer for Kneecap." I went, "How am I in the trailer? I'm hardly in the film." But because of one of the taglines, "Why don't you speak the Queen's English?"
Yeah.
And I went, "I'm delighted." So finally, after 40 years of doing everything under the sun, I'm cool. With my two sons, I'm in a Kneecap. Yeah, because they loved their music and everything before the film even came about. My sons were mad into the lads. Went to some of their gigs in LA and stuff.
Oh, well, me and Damon and Meg, love rap music and hip-hop.
Yeah.
We are really down with it.
Rap without the C.
In the hood, Tim.
I know. I know, yeah.
And I don't mash up myself, but
I've seen you boys getting down. Yeah. It's hard to see you getting up, but
Are they on Classic FM at all? Are they?
I'll call my people.
So you might get a call. You might get to go to LA.
Yes.
You never.
Yeah, and do my one line.
But you've done virtually everything, haven't you? I mean, film, TV, stage in Northern Ireland, and you're a Westie, aren't you?
Yes, I was.
We go way back. Me and Marty, we're both Westies. We're all the way back to Lost All School.
Yes,
in the early 80s.
Edenmore Drive in Andersonstown. He was much older than me. Like you were half a year ahead of me.
We were De La Salle Mafia.
We were indeed an offer we couldn't understand.
First met in the Mrs. Laurie's art class.
But you were a superstar when we went to school. You and your comedy friends at the Christmas show. These guys were like royalty, walking around. Even though you weren't allowed to say royalty in West Belfast, but they were comedy gold. And Kieran and Damon and his buddies. And
we used to do a wee comedy act with
Kieran,
Shawnee Allen, and Kieran Mulgrew, who was actually Jimmy Cricket's nephew. That was his claim to fame. He's Jimmy Cricket's nephew. So we used to we're just relentless. Like it was always Kieran, there's more, and there's more Kieran.
It was brilliant. At the Christmas show, it was always you guys were like the walking
it's his fault.
Walking into the school with the folders and all the comedy folders. And I'm like, oh my god, there's those fellas from the Christmas
Comedy
show.
folder.
Comedy folder. Well, it was a piece of paper, like. But
But you know, he actually auditioned for Opportunity Knocks.
what?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
About that,
And Green, yeah.
And did it?
It wasn't Opportunity Knocks. It was Hughie Green. No, he did when he got sacked from Opportunity Knocks. He did Hughie Green's Opportunity Knocks.
Right.
And we auditioned for him in the King's Hall. Yeah.
Right. How did that go? I don't remember seeing you. You didn't get it.
Yeah, we had a comedy troupe called Onions.
Right.
And it was me and
Good
Kieran
name.
Mulgrew,
Yeah.
who was Jimmy Cricket's nephew, and Shawnee Allen. And but Kieran Mulgrew had funny handwriting, so Hughie Green, he comes out and he does the whole scenario. Good evening, folks, and I mean that most sincerely, I really do. It's your vote that counts, and now we have the next act coming up here, ladies and gentlemen, and it's and he looked at it and he couldn't read, and he went Orianus. And we're sitting going, Orianus! Is Orianus in the building? Orianus! And then Shawnee Allen goes, I think that's us. I think he thinks he's misread because Kieran's writing. So we went auditioned for Hughie Green.
That's the type of warm-up you want,
Yes.
isn't it?
Well, you see, we got to the first sketch, and the first sketch featured a Hughie Green impression, which was Kieran Mulgrew doing Hughie Green. So he got, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I mean that most sincerely, I really do. And then Hughie Green said, thank you very much, Orianus.
So how is? Can I ask? So how is Orianus these days?
Ended up with these guys,
Probably a better name than the Hole in the Wall gang.
Sounds sort of strange, doesn't it?
Sounds a bit weird. What is it about West Belfast? There's a lot of talented people in West Belfast. Yourself, Marty McCann, Packy Lee's West Belfast
Yep.
as well. Damon Quinn, some of those talented actors.
Paddy Jenkins.
Yep.
Paddy
Of course,
Jenkins.
Paddy, same school.
What, is it just no working? You just want to go?
No, we were thrown out of the house. We weren't allowed to come back in. So you had to
LaSalle, it is LaSalle.
the school that we went to
Was it all
was
you or LaSalle?
All LaSallians, yes.
fantastic, and the wonderful Sean Crummy.
Yes, indeed.
Late Sean
right.
Crummy, who was a school teacher at LaSalle, and it was after I'd left. But Sean came to the fore with the folks on the hill and all that stuff.
Sean.
But started with the Christmas show at LaSalle.
Yeah.
And
Something in the air or something
Yeah,
in LaSalle, I don't know.
my
Sean Crummy was a lovely guy. Sean was some people might he was an impressionist. He did Folks on the Hill. The nicest guy in the
he
world.
did it, and he wrote a play called Stormont that he was in. He played Michael McGimsey and Jerry Kelly.
Right.
Both within
Jerry
the
Kelly
play,
was brilliant.
and we myself and Kelly Keir Clark and a young other fella, we played these activists who took over Stormont for Greenpeace and all that stuff, and so we kidnapped Jimsy and Jerry Kelly. So we and Sean wrote this, and Michael Pointer directed it. It was on at the Mac, and it did really well. Punters really enjoyed it, but we would lock Sean up as Jimsy, and he'd be banging at the door, and then he'd come out as Jerry Kelly. We'd throw Jerry Kelly back, and then he'd come out with a ball wig as Jimsy.
He was lovely. He passed away very young, unfortunately. But Jerry Kelly was actually at his funeral. I was at the funeral. It was a massive funeral, but such a nice guy. He used to do Jerry Adams for our voiceover for our stage show. But he was quite religious, and I did not in your face way, but he wouldn't say fuck for us.
All right.
So we had to get Jerry Adams, and he said, "Look, I'll not say the bad words. I'll just say bucking rather than mucking." And he was so good. Jerry Adams was perfect, and then he wouldn't take any money, which is the type of actor we like. He just And we said, "No, we'll give you money for this show." I said, "No, just get us a bottle of Rio or something."
Very good.
He was so nice. Yeah.
Well, of course, Marty, you very helpfully stepped in to save our show last year, didn't you?
The phone call that you thought, I mean, for anybody under wouldn't know what candid camera is, but I get this with, "Hey, Marty, Tim McGarry. Tim, you okay?" "Yes, Marty, I was wondering, could you
That's the worst impression of me I've ever heard in my life.
Was there any? I don't have the height for
I'm in the
it.
room and I don't even recognise myself.
Close your eyes, people. "You couldn't help us out, could you?" And I said, "What's it?" He says, "Paddy Jenkins has gone and broke his real
Literally broke his leg.
Literally broke his leg. Can you step in for us?" And I went, "To do what? Like when?" He went, "Like now."
What are you doing tomorrow night?
What are you doing tomorrow night? And long story short, it was like, well, I'm not going to come on and pretend to be Pastor Begbie because you don't want to insult the audience. You love this character that Paddy's created, this fantastic character. So we could come up with that make me his long lost evil twin brother who's never rarely discussed ever. Who suddenly makes an appearance, and within a couple of days, with the wonderful guidance of yourself and Kieran Nolan, of course.
Well, of course, you see, the first couple of nights I had to go on with Kieran Nolan.
I saw the one you did in Downpatrick.
And of course, it features a song and dance routine, and I can't dance and I can't sing. So it was kind of
never stopped me.
I was so glad when you're right. Being a song and dance man.
No, I think when I saw you did, you were like, you know that I know that you know that I know that I'm not Pastor Begbie, but we'll just get this over and I like really quick and get this over and done with, will we? Yes. Even that worked. And I think you don't need me to come on board, but we did after the Downpatrick thing. So
no, you did about 20 shows for us, and you did a brilliant job. Thank you very much.
It was an absolute pleasure, but I think I was telling you, like, when you had to make the announcement, because Pastor Begbie had to come out at the top of the show, conflicting his religion. He thought that God had turned against him. God was now a Fenian, because everybody, all the Republicans were getting into power, blah. And you said, well, don't worry, Paddy, who's gone and broke his... I won't do the impression. But
oh, were you doing it again there?
I should have put a blue shirt on. I shaved and everything.
But you are a song and dance man. You started in music, didn't you? I mean, it was the Chevys, wasn't it?
Well, I used to sing in the show bands and stuff like that. Yeah, the first one really was Shorty and the Heartbeats for anybody under 100. And then the Chevrolets, it became the Chevy, and then the acting thankfully came along full time. Yeah. So I had to go to the boys and say, look, lads, I've got some lovely jobs, theatre things lined up here. I'm going to have to step away from the band. And Mickey Sands, who was the drummer at the time, said, well, what are we going to do? I said, Mickey, why don't you come out and be a front man and get another drummer and see how that goes? Within 6 months, somebody saw them, a promoter, somebody McGill, somebody had seen them at a wedding, and within 6 months they'd all given up their day jobs. They had this big pink Volvo tour bus with the Chevrolets down the side, playing the same songs, the same 25, 30 songs, and they were booked into all the big hotels all around Ireland, all give up their day jobs, and for about 20 years opening up for the Beach Boys and
Beach Boys?
doing all these big festivals in London. And I go, like, every time I leave a band, I go on to bigger and better things. You know, like the Five Tops. Look what happened to the Five Tops.
You're playing the five people in a bar in West Belfast.
Yeah, we were in the Column Lodge, which was a lovely place. And then 6 months later, I see this big pink Volvo tour bus going down the Falls Road going, the Chevrolets? I started them. And so
there was that Coldplay one as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, they were called Freeze and Play when they U3, I left them.
Showbiz is tough, isn't it?
The Five Tops. I was trying to get that in there.
Right. It's a cruel business, isn't it?
Yeah, it is indeed.
Showbiz. Because you went off to LA to try and make it.
Well, it wasn't for that. I didn't go for that. I went to be with. Well, long story short, don't have to get into it. How long have we got? No, I went off to be with a girlfriend that I met here in 1979.
Right.
And a turn of events, I ended up moving out there in '89. And was there for the guts of 20 years.
Right.
My two sons, wonderful son Dylan and Brandon, were born there. Obviously, that marriage didn't last, and I had to, through many reasons, had to move back home because being single over there in California was the judges weren't very kind to So it was difficult to survive separately. So
you met a few famous people when you were there, didn't you?
God, there was. Well, yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was very lucky to be get involved with the California Artists Radio Theatre, which tons and tons of like expatriate, whatever the term is, actors that lived over there loved radio theatre, and it was organised by a lady called Peggy Webber McClory, who was married to a man called Sean McClory, who was in The Quiet Man. He was one of the two IRA men in The Quiet Man.
Oh, yeah.
Heavy set guy. Sean McCloy. And they had this theatre company called the California Artists Radio Theatre. So through doing wee bits of theatre in LA, I became involved with them. And then you're going to do these like Irishy sort of show. And there's the likes of Roddy McDowell sitting there and
Rod
Stagger.
Right.
We because we did Ray Bradbury's 75th birthday thing, and his 80th birthday, and Ray Bradbury, Fahrenheit 451, and he also wrote The Illustrated Man, that starred Rod Steiger.
Wow.
So Rod Steiger came back and did the radio version of that piece, and excerpts from another thing he did called The Beggars on O'Connell Bridge, when he was in Ireland working on the screenplay for Moby Dick. And so, and you're sitting there going, and then schmuck bag me sitting there with Shelley, Shelley Long from Cheers, Roddy McDowell and Rod Steiger, Michael York, Lynn Redgrave. Lynn Redgrave told Stephen, this sounds like a real clang fest, doesn't it?
It's all right.
But we were rehearsing. I had my two young lads with me at the time. They were just wee babies. And at one point we had this room in the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel for rehearsals. And it was William Wyndham, who's the grey-haired doctor on Murder, She Wrote. And, he was there, and Samantha Agar, who was in Dr. Dolittle, and Peggy, and it wasn't Shelley Long, and Lynn Redgrave. And we were in the rehearsal room with us, and I had my son Brandon, and Lynn Redgrave, she said, "Can I hold him?" And so, English, by the way.
I thought that was me for a minute.
So she's holding him. So can I hold him?
No, still not close.
No, close your eyes, baby. Close your eyes. So she says to me, "Can I hold?" And then this is okay. Then Steven Seagal came by the door. Right, this is not a joke. And he claimed that the room that we were in was meant to be his room that he had for a meeting that day.
Right.
And he was going, "No, these guys, they got to go. That room belongs to me. They got to go." And I go, "That's your man that's your man." Because this was like 91 or something like that.
Steven Seagal, he's famous, isn't he?
The martial artsy fella. The black ponytail. Early 90s.
Yeah.
So it was about 95. This was about 1995. And Lynn Redgrave was given off to these. He says, "Get those people out of the room. That room's my room. They got to go." And everybody was like, "Oh my God." Lynn Redgrave, with my son on her arm, went, "Come here, you." And she said, "Take you." And she called him everything. "Now, F off, down and go back to wherever. This room is our room, and this room is the room we're staying in. So why don't you take your ponytail and your day and fuck away?" And I sit there going, Lynn Redgrave is just giving Steven Seagal a bollocking. And I just sit there going, is this really fucking happening? And then she went, "So now, where were we?" Maybe some Brandon here who's dodo in his mouth. No, I go, this is bizarre. No wonder I drank.
But there are so many people they're like flipping burgers who want to be actors who are waiting for them to get the big.
Oh yeah, well that's that joke. Like, I'm an actor. What restaurant do you work in? And they did a thing years ago where they had one of those experiments where they had people go through a what you call it, a cashier in a supermarket, and they had the cashier ask every person coming through, "So how's the screenplay going?" And and about 70% of all the people going through went, "Oh, what? Oh, actually, I didn't know you knew about that. Yeah, it's going good." Like 70% of just random customers all had a screenplay in the works, and they go, "Yeah, so how's the screenplay going?" So it's unbelievable.
So how close did you get? I mean, did you get?
I'll tell you what, no, because when I became a daddy and my two sons, I was working at nights in the pub, which was great, the wee Irish pub, and it's still there, called Ireland's 32 on Burbank Boulevard, which was a lifesaver.
Bar.
Yeah, it was, Ireland's 32. I can't even wear the hat for it back here. It was a lovely wee loyalist bar.
The knee breakers only more better.
Yeah, so no, it was an Irish bar where everyone was welcome.
Right. Everybody knows your name and knows where you live.
So I did over 18 years working there, but I organised pub theatre when I worked there. And the one thing that got me sort of going again was a friend of mine saw Mary Jones, one-man show that Dan Gordon started, a night in November.
Yeah.
Came back from Dublin, and I was behind the bar, and he said, "Yes, Marty, I've just seen a play," and he threw the script on the bar. He said, "You have to do that play. You're the only guy that I know over here that could do that justice." And I said, "What is it?" And I was like making tricks, and he said, "It's one man, he does his whole thing, and he never leaves the stage." And I looked at it, I went, "Mary Jo." I said, "I know her, actually. She gave me my first professional acting job." He said, "What are you doing now?" What was that again? 2 Guinness. Yeah, back in the wah, wah, wah. So I started flicking through it and I went, oh my God, this is unbelievable. Dan Gordon, yeah, I know Dan from way back. So this is like 94, 95. And I read it and I went, right, you know what I'm going to, because I'd been doing pub theatre in the wee bar I worked in. I said, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a reading of it. And I, with 2 light bulbs and the script and the microphone, I did a reading of it in the bar on a Friday night. $10, all you could eat Irish stew, and they came from everywhere to see it. And I went down a storm, and I went, I think I might be onto something here. And within a couple of years, it took off, and it did it.
Did it write the script eventually?
Hmm?
Did you do it write the script?
Oh God, no! There'd be none of that. I got to the gate and they were like, "Why you still got the script? Too many words, and some of them are really big."
Well, the funny thing is, loads of different parts in that play. It's a brilliant, we had Mary and it's a brilliant play, and loads of different parts, and you still can't even come close to a Tim McGarry impression. Not even close.
You're not going to let this go, are you?
It's like
same city. Like it doesn't.
No, it's ridiculous.
Norman McAllister, yeah, you got that, no problem, but Tim McGarry.
Kenneth Norman McAllister, get the name right, I'll get the impersonation.
Kenneth Norman McAllister.
This has really had a sore now.
But in the bar, you think you told me once you were robbed in the bar.
I was, yes,
Yeah.
at gunpoint.
Were you?
What's the story there?
In America, a man with a gun?
Yes,
Robbing a bar?
in a bar on Sunday night karaoke.
Did
yes.
you have one?
After that, I was offered one and declined because I said, "You're going to need one of these." I went, nah, because I'd shoot myself before I figure out how to use it. But no, it was doing karaoke one Sunday night, and this is haunting me now. Singing Delilah, Tom Jones, cordless mic and all. Charlie Bignuts, and it was going well.
You're singing?
Yes. My, Delilah, I saw the light on the night that and the next day, right, everybody on the ground. 2 guys come in the front door. One came out, no, 2 in the back door. One came in the front door, and they took everybody down. I'm literally up on the bar for a bit of crack singing. And they jumped over the bar, and next thing I went, oh my God, this is... So I got the mic, and I just put the mic... So when I get down off the bar, gun behind the head, right, give me your money. People are screaming and yelling. I went, oh my holy fuck. I leave in Belfast to come to sunny California. I'm singing Delilah, and I'm going to die here. I'm going to die behind this wee bar.
I never even got to the second chorus.
So I went, I said, there's more money, and under the third, there's more there, and there's my tip jar. Tip jar. So you couldn't leave it. Nah, just take it all. And people were down on the floor, panicking, crying, and it was horrible. It was awful.
No, I'm sure it was.
And then whenever they we're down, we'll go Toke, let's go. One of them was called Toke.
Oh.
Let's go, smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Toke that lives in 74. Anything you feel about, drives the green. Let's go.
Toke.
So they went, and then it was that 5-month-long silence that was like 5 seconds,
Right.
and just the dust settled, and people were crying and screaming, and I was going, oh, Jesus Christ! And I just, what do? You have to do something, and I just got the and I went, folks, if my singing is really that bad, you don't have to have 3 fucking gunmen come in. I will stop singing. Just say, Marty, you're shite. Put the mic
very
down.
good.
So
Very
it was,
good.
and it was.
Did they get Toke in the end? Did the Toke get...
They got, well,
They all got wiped out, didn't they?
they
whoa,
got
that take a turn.
all
Light. What?
Oh yeah. Could do a podcast. They say it'll be fun. They say
That's showbiz.
It's America, like.
the culprits from that night are no longer with us.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Sorry
and
to hear that.
because they were on a spiral, and people were starting to get more and more hurt. They were on a very
All right.
vicious downward spiral,
All right.
and it was only a matter of time before
Right.
I
Law enforcement
could have been. They were very close then. I'll never forget that. It was like an ice cube behind the back of my neck for about 10
right.
years.
There was a- what, the- like you put a gun in your
yeah.
neck?
It was horrible.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
that
awful.
must be traumatic, eh?
Yeah, so that's my impersonation. Not been very good. I'll work. It used to be so much better.
And can you bring yourself to sing Delilah now?
Yeah, but it usually starts like this. That's sold it. I do a lot of ducking. And I usually put a motorbike helmet on with a tinted visor. Yeah.
You thought, I must get back to Northern Ireland safer.
I go back to the safety of West Belfast.
And you did come back, and I've seen you in loads of things. I saw you in Chronicles of Long Cash.
Yeah, which we just did again recently.
What was the one? There was the Builders one.
Shoot the Crow.
Shoot the Crow.
Yeah, Owen McCaffrey did the
I swear
agreement.
quite a lot on stage in my marvellous one-man show, Ridiculous, but I do swear up. There's a lot of swearing.
There was, I think we counted, there was 271. Yeah, and they say fuck too. No, but did I tell you the wee guy come up to us in the Opera House one day? Can I curse?
Yeah,
I can't
you
curse.
can.
But this wee guy, he saw it in the Opera House, and he was one of those wee upside down V's.
Right.
He was about 70 something, and he had a wee jacket on, and he looked like he said, "May I fucking tell you something, kid?" Excuse me, can I do this?
Yeah.
And I was standing, he says, "See, I'll fucking play. That was fucking unbelievable. Me and the fucking mates were all fucking there watching that fucking play. I'll fucking tell you, kid. How the fuck do you remember all the fucking lads I'll ever fucking know?" He said, "Now listen, but fucking about that, we're all talking now, we're having a wee fucking drink. And we had one fucking complaint, just one wee fucking complaint, that whole thing." I says, "What is it?" He said, "There's no fucking way we ever fucking cursed that much." I've just counted 90. That was just one complaint.
I had the same thing with a taxi driver once who was exactly the same. We were talking about football, and he was fucking this and fucking. And he says, "I've stopped going to the kids' football matches." I says, "Why?" He says, "See the language out of some of them fucking parents. It's fucking desperate." But yeah, I've seen you in that. You're very good, and you sing as well as act as well. You're a good chanter. Like.
Well, yes. Well, there's been a couple of. Well, yes.
Well, you did Angela's Ashes.
I did Angela's Ashes.
Be good to your mother, you've only got one.
Yeah. Angela's Ashes are calling. Oh, that one. I didn't sing that. The granny sang that. I know, I look very similar up close. I know that's another one we did, like Angela's Ashes, the musical. People go, "Oh, for
No, but I thought when I first got tickets to go, somebody got me tickets for it.
Aye.
And I thought, Angela's Ashes, the musical.
I know.
I started going, fuck, that's going to be grand. But it was actually brilliant.
I know, they were like, what's
really
next?
entertaining.
The guy put up a thing in Limerick, a post that they tell us. Because the McCourt family had their Limerick roots, and somebody put up Angela's Ashes, the musical. So he put his own flyer out called featuring the hit single "Whinging in the Rain."
What's next?
So,
I was like, what's next? Schindler's List.
Hiroshima, the sitcom. And they were going, look, just what about Les Mis? What about Oliver? What about Miss Saigon? All these big depressy backstories that are musicals. There's a bunch of singing cats knocking about for the last 40 odd years.
Well, it worked really well.
It did work really. It did really. It did, yeah. Went all over Ireland, went to London, did Croydon and stuff like that. It was one of those shows that didn't quite get over the line that people hoped it would, but it's there. It's obviously. I was playing the daddy, who was from Toom, Malachy Senior. So if they ever bring it back, I'd be playing the granddad. But it's a gorgeous show. The music's unbelievable, and it really touched an awful lot of people. People in Limerick were going, that was our childhood. Yeah. That was just like what, and so I was very proud of it. Very, very proud of it.
But you know what's interesting? Northern Ireland these days, this just shows partly comedy and culture and stuff like that, but there's an awful lot happening now. You can make a career being an actor here. Your missus is an actor, Jo Donnelly, we love him.
Yeah, she's
very talented. She can probably do a better impression of me than you
I'm
can.
only here because she couldn't make it today. You're not fooling me, lad.
She could do a better impression of me.
Joe can't make it. Is he still alive? Get him, man.
No, but the point that I'm trying to say is there's an awful lot of theatre and stuff going on at the minute, and because we're all of a certain age, and we had Olivia Nash on last week, the wonderful Olivia Nash. Theatre stopped in the 70s.
Yeah.
They were all blowing up. There was no comedy between the 70s and the late 80s when ourselves and Paddy Keelty, and you look at the world now and it's completely different planet now.
Well, Olivia and I love that woman. I just fell in love with her. 36 years ago, we were in a wee TV play being done in Northern Ireland by UTV. It was called The Last of a Dying Race. It was like English
Yep.
And
That's
the-
Christina Reid play, is it?
Christina Reid played The Last of a Dying Race,
Yeah.
and it was couldn't believe it, getting apart. I'd just been turned down for drama school, and I came back here with a tail between the legs, and then I got this thing, they want to see you down at UTV for a part in a drama, and another candid camera one, dead on. So went down. Long story short, got offered the part of the young fella. Hard to believe, 36 years ago. So
I tell you who directed it, Stevie Butcher.
Stephen Butcher directed,
He
yeah.
directed our first.
Directed Two Ceasefires
Yeah.
and a Wedding.
So got that gig with Tracy Lynch, played the young love interest of me, and then it was packed full of and then I met this gorgeous Olivia Nice, and I just fell in love with her. And that was 36 years ago. But back then, it was unheard of to be doing something like that. So I claimed Ma before you even met her. So that was one of my wee claim to fame. And working with her up until just
She's
a few months
pain in the
ago.
arse, isn't she? It's the demands.
I know, yeah, the
drinking.
The drinking.
Yeah,
Well, you can
yeah.
cope with the drinking, but it's the kind of the diva stuff that
I know. Well, working with you for 20 odd years to do that to a person, being your wife, loves everybody.
The filthy story she
The
tells
filthy
you.
language out of
And her impersonation of you is even better than mine.
You think she comes across all national on the TV,
And then poof.
desperate.
Yeah, you sucker punch when you're not looking.
The filth out of her mouth.
she's just brilliant.
Filth out of her mouth.
But there is such a. But even then, there was such a wealth of talent. But there was no avenues for
Yeah.
it to get.
Yeah.
And if you didn't go off and do drama school, you weren't taken seriously now and then. But now, thankfully, there's such a such brilliant writers and the comedians. The
comedy now is-
the breeding ground for comedians. It's unbelievable. Now,
we
Kieran
started-
Bartlett did the B team that my wife Jo played the mum Brenda in recently. The pilot was on there, and the reception's been lovely for that.
Well, your Joe's good now.
She's good. Yeah, I just hold on to the coattails
I know.
and watch and learn, take
Just
notes.
learn.
Yeah.
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 Well, you also took notes when you were on stage with us, and you've grown as an actor.
There's the how to and the how not to page. Nope. Don't do that.
But when we started,
He's still getting away with that.
We started in the group. Damon is more responsible for all of this, to be honest, because he started,
It's my fault.
in La Salle with the comedy stuff, and then he wrote plays that he put on in the group theatre when we were university in early 1980s. Yeah? And the group theatre was literally it was amateur stuff. But
Yeah.
then we started doing Hole in the Wall, and it was literally the only theatre. There was that in the arts, was there? With the arts, and then
Yeah.
it disappeared. But there was no outlet. And you go now, the comedy clubs in Northern Ireland, every hole in the hedge now is a stand-up comedy club.
Our first show in the arts was called "Kick Up the Arts."
Kick Up the
If you
Arts.
remember.
That was good. That was a
Yeah.
good title.
Yeah.
You weren't even on the air whenever I left, because I left in January '89 to go to the States. Come back at the end of 2008 full time. I remember the first time I came back, this massive. Have you seen Give Me Headpiece? Have you seen Give Me Headpiece? I go, what's Give Me Headpiece? And then and I'm not only saying this because Easter is sitting there, but we're like, oh my God, why was I away when this started? So and you are still going.
We've given you a few parts in there. You've been in a couple of times. haven't
Well,
you?
actually, I
You
was
were-
down, on the way down the back of the limo today. You sent for me. We done on the scooter. Yes, I had to beat you up one time on the streets because you tried to interview me in the street.
Yeah, I tried to interview you for a documentary.
Yeah, I was
about
maybe
the
a member of a wee
Well,
organisation that you may or may not have been. And then I was a van driver in one.
That's right, yeah.
And then you had me lose my manhood. And
I did indeed. That's right.
In a fly.
I shut his bollocks off.
No, you had a dog.
Remember that? Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yes. Sorry.
It wasn't bad, Tim. You should give it a watch. Flashback scenes. and
What's it
everything.
called again?
I had the dogs bite.
The dogs bit his
Oh, yes,
bollocks off.
I
That's
was-
right. Sorry, I didn't shoot his bollocks off.
Yeah, my lovely wee Tom Selleck, Engelbert Humperdinck flashback scene and everything. And then
But the original idea was I was going to shoot your bollocks off. It was the idea we were being on a firing range. That's why I said shut your bollocks.
I said I'll set them swinging.
And I was
You
the
never
idea was
get them.
I was like talking away and the gun went off and
Oh, right,
shot
okay.
it and you were way down.
But you're even more evil than that. You sent me into two vicious dogs.
Yeah.
And then the phone call to come and
Yeah.
with poor Paddy with his leg. I said it already, but the audience were going when you said people I could hear them, and the audience go, when they said, but we find his bigger, better. Don't worry, Paddy Jenkins, he's gone and broke his leg. The Bucky, 1,000 people in the opera. I'm standing going. in the way he's over there doing the announcement on the mic. So I'm the first thing they see. But we found is, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. Shh, do you want to leave? I can hear them. And then at
Can
one
we
point,
get our money back?
but then, was I tell you, come out one of the nights in the Opera House, or I come out, and it's like, well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, yes, and all I hear is a guy going, oh, for fuck's sake.
But you won them round. You won them round within 2 jokes. You had them in the
Yes.
He's all right. He's
Yeah,
all
I
right.
didn't do the sugar joke though. I would have got the
Sugar
if
joke.
you know, you know.
We're holding that one back.
The Christmas special.
Yeah.
That's for the live Give My Head podcast. You know, the SSE Arena. We're saving that for the finale.
Yeah.
It's a
Keep the
very
big,
good joke
save
that
the big
Marty
guns.
has.
Yeah.
Just break it out towards you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Marty. Yeah. Comedy's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, I've seen your work. Yeah. With ding ding.
Can you do an impression of it? No, you can't. Do you prefer comedy? Do you like straight stuff, or do you prefer musicals? What do you?
Who's ever mad enough to give me a job? I prefer that.
Right.
Yeah. I love comedy. I do. I love the heavy stuff. I play a lot of heavies as well. You know, people say you're playing an awful lot of daddies and grandies
I
now.
once saw you playing an evil bastard, and you murdered poor Bernadette Brown.
I sure did. Yeah,
Bernadette Brown?
but she wasn't.
Murdered
he?
Bernadette Brown.
Yeah, because she wasn't complying.
Yeah, she was annoying you.
I was a very, very angry drug dealer with my
Yes,
bleached
you
blonde
were.
hair.
What was that play called?
It was called The Sword in the Sand.
Aye, yeah, you were an
Pier-
evil bastard. That you were actually good at an evil bastard.
The Pierce Elliott play.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been
Pierce,
lucky to be in a couple of starting with pulling moves way back in the day.
Were you in Pulling Moves?
I was yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I was still living over in the States at the time, and they were up for another part that didn't work out, so they gave me the part of the Simon Delaney's cousin, who helped them all get their house.
Right.
He was a wheeler
Pulling
dealer.
Moves is interesting because we have Kieran Nolan is playing on our show. We couldn't replace the great
One of the
Gay
finest.
Boss, but he's playing Sandy the barman. Brilliant, and he still gets to this day. You're in Pulling Moves and asks for autographs and stuff about pulling, which was 20 odd years ago.
It was 22 years ago.
Yeah, and only
Yeah.
got one
Cult.
series, and it's
2002.
still
Yeah, there was only 10 episodes. It's like the Faulty Towers of West Belfast.
yeah. And it did really well. He still gets it.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because he was brilliant in it. All the lads were brilliant in
Yeah,
it.
that's why I didn't remember you. Did you
Kevin, yeah.
remember
You're
Kieran?
really horrible, Tim.
Well,
you
you know, if you're going to do an impression, do an impression, do your research.
calm it down, Tim. You know,
Please
bring
listen
it down.
Like I was down stage with him for a month, like.
I did, on stage, I had 3 seconds with you on stage. Your big monologue. But yes, I was in Pull Moves. Did I mention? Yeah. What was it two weddings and a break-in or something?
My cousin was in that Pulling Moves. He was hooker.
Jared.
Jared
Jordan.
Jared Jordan.
Jared Jordan Quinn.
Quinn is his real name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brilliant actor.
He was
doing
one of the
fantastic, wasn't
iconic
he?
characters from it, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, Hooker. Everybody
yeah,
wanted.
Hooker was the
He was
one,
always.
yeah.
They would steal stuff, and then he'd steal the stuff
Yeah.
that they stole.
No,
Yeah, he did it in the episode that I was in.
And did he get to do the horse's head? Was that him?
I'm not
I
sure.
think they recreated The Godfather or something
Ah,
on
they
stage
did
with
that.
the horse's head in the
Yeah.
head.
The only one the one that they stole, they arranged for my wedding presents to be stole, and then they locked up my wedding present for the insurance scam, and then he stole the presents from their lockup,
Yeah.
so they had to buy the presents back from him that they'd
Are
stolen.
they all on YouTube? Well, they probably are.
Yeah, they're all
sure,
YouTube. Yeah, Pierce with them. They were great, and people, as I said, like Kieran still gets recognised.
Yeah.
Well, obviously he gets recognised from the show, from Give Me
Oh, he's
Headpod.
brilliant, lovely actor.
He is fantastic,
Gentleman.
and
I like your
also
impression of me.
yeah, well, he's got the height for it. He's got the height for it.
I'm getting bored now.
He's the one bringing it up, not me. It's not my fault. It's his fault. He's the one doing it.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But also, Kieran Nolan, again, a brilliant, serious, dramatic actor. Did you ever see
Yeah.
the one-man show he did?
Yeah.
Man on the Moon. He was unbelievable in that. He's got that wonderful quality where he can make you wet yourself laughing, but he can pull the rug from underneath you and just kill you as well. He's a fantastic, fantastic actor.
Yeah.
We'll have to get him on this. We'll get him on this.
Come on,
Yeah.
Of course, Pierce has that ability to write great comedy, but he also can write some very hard-hitting stuff. Like, you know,
He's a brilliant writer, and I also did during lockdown. Ian McElhinney and myself were and Paddy Jenkins as well. He has a brilliant play called a gold tier sky, and it's about an RUC man and an ex terrorists who are both in a hospice
Oh yes.
beside each other in a ward beside each other,
Yeah.
and it's hilarious. But my God, some of the dialogue is, and I think it's. Rumored. I saw Pierce on a podcast. It looks like it's been developed into the screenplay as well.
Oh, great.
So it's some fantastic stuff. Yeah. Another Westie, another
Westie, yeah.
Leonard fella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to get some good Protestants on apart from you. Know? Well, East Belfast does all right. With Mary Jones,
Mary Jones, yes.
She's brilliant, of course.
Oh, she's unbelievable.
Dan Gordon. You're a player. You're working with Dan
Morrison.
in
I'll be working.
in the lyric, aren't you? Very soon.
Yes, I'm going to be in A Christmas Carol with Dan. He's playing Scrooge,
Right.
and I'm going to be a bunch of other things running around after Mr. Scrooge.
Doing lots
Mr.
of things.
Fezziwig goes to Christmas Present, Jacob Marley, and that's a great cast. So
Is
that's
that all
good.
kind of back to the Dickens thing? Or
It's
you do-
Mary Jones has written the treatment.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
it's all very
Yeah,
Belfast.
she
and
was
it's-
on here. She said it's like it's set in modern Belfast, is it?
No.
Or is it set in?
No, it's set in when it was meant to be. There's no like the
Victorian.
these
time.
Romeo and
But it is-
Juliet's
but it
putting
is
it on like
Belfast.
later. But yes, Belfast.
But it's Belfast. Yeah.
It's all in the Belfast vernacular, but it's set back in the day.
All right,
It
all right.
was written,
Yeah.
with the Belfast vernacular. So it's really, really. We did a workshop of it in April, which was fantastic. And her son Matthew, who's a wonderful director,
I know Matthew,
Matthew's
yeah.
going to be directing it, and
All right.
the workshop was great. So they've worked on the script as a result of. In a workshop, as you know, you find stuff you thought would land, maybe didn't. So they've gone back to the drawing board and they've got a brand new, up-to-date script. And we start on the rehearsals on the 25th.
So it's Belfast vernacular. So instead of bah humbug, it's go and fuck yourself.
Yes, yeah. Shove those humbugs up your forsooth.
I'm the ghost of Christmas past. Fuck away.
Just thought you were black.
Well, it's tough being an actor. You've always got to wait for the phone to ring, haven't you? I mean, it's not
But he
easy.
has. He has to wait for the phone to ring.
Yes.
No, right? But you don't get the pick and well. Do you get the pick and choose? Do you get a?
No. Generally, no. You're usually like a taxi driver. You're always looking for the next fare. You're always. If some people are brilliant at working and hustling, some people do sit around and scratch their arse a wee bit more than when you get to a certain age. Maybe.
But it's all luck as well. I mean,
And a lot-
you're a hugely talented gentleman. I mean that as a compliment, and but it doesn't necessarily mean that talent always out.
No,
necessarily.
it's sadly that's very true. Sometimes you see people getting work that you go,
Yeah.
But then again, that's nobody put a gun to our head to make us do this for a living. So that's part of the gig. You have to deal with it.
That's what he always said. It's the business we have chosen.
You take
the rough with the
and you
smooth.
give yourself the 5 minutes. Like, you dust yourself off and go right next. Because very rarely will you get a job that's going to define you for the rest of your career. So you just hopefully do a good job on the one you've got, move on, and do the next one justice. And if somebody puts their faith in you, try to.
Yeah, I mean, we were extremely lucky to get my headpiece. I mean, it's a gift that keeps giving, and it's still going.
But it's brilliant, and I'm not only saying that
all these
because we're
years
saying it,
later,
but I mean, it
yeah.
wouldn't still be here if people didn't want to, like the Opera House. We did the Opera House, and even the matinees were sold out. 1,000 people on a Saturday afternoon. That says something, lads, and that's brilliant, and so fair play.
Yeah.
That's what you did tell me to say, isn't it? I've got all the
Script. I gave you the script, didn't we?
So fair play to you, lads. Drop the last piece of
All
paper.
that continue.
With that actor thing, it must be the way it works now, because we used to do it. We used to audition people, and we'd bring them in, and you'd do something like this, and they'd sit and do a reading. That doesn't happen anymore. It seems to be like this horrible video thing.
Self-taping, I know, and it's soul destroying too, because when you hear all these horror stories about the people that 300 people would maybe self-tape for a part, and because when you've been around enough, you hear from people they didn't even watch those tapes. They give they pick the top 20.
Yeah.
They're an assistant who will bring those to the powers that be. They can pull the switch, yay or nay, and a lot of times that's what happens, because yourself, a lot of very high-powered people, directors, aren't going to sit through and watch 350 self-tapes for a 7-line role, which is what happens now. It used to be, Michael, people would come into your room, and when you're in the room, you get a chance to impress more than this. I mean, we know it all comes down to being on that screen, but in a room, things happen. You can change people's opinions. You can preconceived notions can be. Oh, wait a minute! I never thought of that. That's the way that certain he or she moves. It's different, and you can. Yeah. But it's not that way, because there's so many. Back in the day, there wasn't that many people, so you kind of knew the if certain roles there was a handful of people for those parts. But now there's hundreds, which is brilliant, but it can also...
Yeah, of course.
It's so diluted now, you know, but an awful lot of incredibly talented people who are now getting to be seen because of the way things are. Right, but it can also be very frustrating. I'm
sure.
You know? And then you see somebody who gets the part and you go, Or, yeah, you know, I could never have done that. Well, you got the right person. So, But it's all part and parcel of it, you know. Just, it's all about sticking around and outliving people. Well, that's what I was saying. Sorry. We need an old lad who can still get up the stairs by himself. Is Maguire still alive? Get him. Can he still get out of a chair all by himself? Get him.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Ian McElhenney to die, making a part with his man with white hair and a beard.
I tell you, Ian, we did a thing with Ian years ago when Mary was actually expecting Matthew. It was a film called The Grass Cutter. We did in New Zealand. And Ian was like James Bond. He's brilliant. He still is. He's brilliant in every category that he goes into as age. But back then we were going around New Zealand with machine guns and helicopters and blowing cars up in Auckland and all. Brilliant.
Sorry, what? In New Zealand, you were blowing up cars?
Yes, we did a film called The Grass Cutter. Ian McElhenney and myself.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
back in 1988. Is this thing on? Is this? I said we did this. Yeah, and Mary was very fun. The two of them were like, they're just the best couple. I love them the best. And Mary was pregnant with Matthew at the time, so that's how long ago that is. Right. So.
Oh. Well, that's enough lovey backslapping.
So did I just jump the shark with that last?
No, not at all. We had them all.
That's another reference. People go, what? Jump a shark?
Marty, thank you very much.
Lads, thanks a million.
Really appreciate it. If Paddy breaks his leg again, just keep the phone on, okay?
Well, indeed. And if it's your name that pops up,
I might break my leg this time and see how you do my part.
Okay. Well, I can have that arranged.
Right. Sort that out.
Where we're from, we can get that fixed for you.
Absolutely.
Lads, thanks a million.
You're very welcome.
Pleasure.
Listen, we're all going to Drip for another delicious cup of coffee. Thank you for listening to the Give My Head podcast. Did you not get one?
Hang on, you take it. What do we do?
Drip on the Ormer Road. Thank you very much for your sponsorship and your support. We will see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Mr. Marty Maguire. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty.
Cheers, Marty.